NFL schedules released last week. We got a full look at what the Niners season is going to be. We're going to break it down, go through each game, what we're feeling good about, what we're not feeling so great about, and let's dig right into this. So, right off the bat, what are your first thoughts? What stands out to you on this schedule?
I think what stands out to me is the way you can kind of perfectly break it into different sections. So first 4 weeks starts off at Bears, come home, play Seattle, then we're at Broncos, and then at home against the Rams. I feel pretty good about that stint there. And it's a really good, almost warm up into introducing Trey as the starter. And then it goes into a lot harder games. But then you have that bye week there. And then coming back, you have, again, back-to-back Sunday night, Monday night. So I think just the way it plays out, it kind of broke it up into the perfect sections. And all we need is a few games here. We need to go just quick runs. Hey, win, win, win. And even if we take an L, it's fine. But I think it's, even though it's the fifth hardest schedule, I think it's pretty doable to have a nice winning season and go to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think when I see this, what I would like to do is break the schedule up into 4 sections, 4 quarters of the season. And I think this maps out perfectly. Bye week at week 9 just splits it right down the middle. And then you look at just every 4-game block. I think there's winnable games. And I think the travel is just really easy on the team. So yeah, first, right off the bat, we go into Chicago. It's not going to be as cold as if we went later in the season. Kind of a new coach, brand new coach, young team. I think we could get a win there. And then we go to Seattle. We're at home against Seattle. And we're pretty much staying West Coast for the next 3 games. Denver, LA. So I'm feeling really good about our chances in that first quarter of the season. Second part of the season, we're going East Coast. We're going Carolina, Atlanta. Those are 2 very winnable games, so I feel really good about that to lead into a home game versus the Chiefs. I'm happy we got a home game against them. So we're still rolling in this schedule. I think we can start off. We get a hot start. After the bye week, home against LA, home against Arizona, home against New Orleans, home against Miami, home against Tampa Bay.
It's that Cardinals game. That first one is Mexico City.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that's an away game. So we still have a home game against the Cardinals, and we're taking away a home game from them. So that's the Mexico City game, Monday night. We'll see with the travel, and it's always weird playing the division because even if a team sucks, we're expecting the Seahawks to be god-awful, but you just know that they're not intimidated by the 49ers, so you just never know what's going to happen in those games.
Yeah, we'll get into the primetime games in a second, but just rounding out that schedule. So yeah, basically 4 out of 5 is a home game. At Seattle, in Washington, at Vegas, and then home against Arizona. I think that's a tough last 2 games, but the Seattle and Washington game leading into that is going to make you feel really good. And if you could still 1 out of 2 of those, you're in a pretty good spot for the beginning of playoffs.
Hey, what's up? This is D. Sorry to interrupt. I know we're digging into some really juicy content here, but just wanted to say, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It all really helps us out to push content to other 49er fans. So when you have a chance, go ahead and do that. Now back to the show.
What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah,
what do you think in second half of the season? What are you feeling from that schedule?
Second half of the season is going to be tough. So there's a lot of familiarity there. So you have the Tom Brady vendetta game, right? Then you have, so let me backtrack. So you have Chargers. That's going to be a tough game. I expect the 49ers to win that game, but it's going to be a shootout. Then you have the Cardinals in Mexico City. Again, so Mexico City is pretty far. It's the middle of Mexico. So it's not, you know what I mean? It's still some travel. There's the elevation element as well. So I think that one's going to be, again, just a tough game. You have the Saints. We'll see who's even their quarterback, to be honest. If you were to tell me that the Saints are like rolling and playoff contenders, I'd believe it. If you were to tell me that they are a 3-win team, I'd believe it. So I just have no idea what Saints are going to come.
You don't think Drew Brees is going to be the quarterback back at that point?
If Drew Brees does come back, I would just advise him not. Hey, just go play pickleball, like you said, dude.
I think I'd rather face an old Drew Brees that week than Jameis Winston.
Yeah, you would much rather face old Drew Brees.
Just cut out the deep ball, but
he doesn't even have a deep ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it'd be. I don't think he's coming back. But so you have the Saints there; they're familiar, but they have no Sean Payton. We'll see. We'll see.
They're a team that could definitely be spiraling at this point in the season if things don't go their way. I think they begrudgingly accepted Dennis Allen as their coach. Like the front office, obviously the players and the coaching staff wanted that because he did prove himself while he was there. When Sean Payton was out, he looked good. The team looked good with him at the head coach spot. But I think they wanted to bring someone like fresh in, someone offensive, and defense has been their strength as of late. If this offense struggles, you're going to immediately think we need to bring in an offensive coach. So I think he has the potential to be a one and done.
Yeah. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. I'm not really too sure about him as a retread, but we'll see. Again, if you were to tell me like they're really good, they're in the playoff hunt, I'd believe it. If they're trash, I'll believe it. But then
so right after that, Miami.
A lot of familiarity there. Now it is, San Francisco's south. But we'll see. I think we'll have to see what Tua has to bring.
We got to see if it's going to be Teddy or Tua, right?
Yeah, I mean, by that point in the season, we'll know for sure. But they're going to be fast. They're a fast team. And regardless if Tua can't really throw it, they're going to do some end arounds. They're going to be creative with it. I expect McDaniel to pull out all the stops here. And, he wants that win badly.
Yeah.
And then taking it into the Brady revenge game.
Before you get into that, just from what we're discussing right now, I'm looking at the second half of the schedule, and all these teams, a majority of them are teams that could be having different starting quarterbacks than from what they started the season with. And that bodes well for the Niners. Like, the Saints could, they could switch a quarterback. Like, if Jameis isn't doing great, they might turn back to Taysom. They might go to a young guy. I think Ian Book's still on the roster. They might throw him out there. Jameis could be hurt. Miami, we don't know if it's going to be Teddy or Tua at that point. But yeah, Washington is a team that they could make a switch at the end of the season. If Carson's not working out, I don't think they're married to him. Sam Howell did get drafted in like the 4th round. Heineke's still there, who's a serviceable backup. So you never know what's going to happen there. Derek Carr's going to be a starter there. Arizona to end the season. This is where Kyler breaks down. So we could see a backup quarterback here potentially too. So I'm just looking at the second half of the season thinking, I mean, maybe half these teams are switching up at quarterback and kind of in disarray.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that happening. I think too, again, like I was saying, they're just familiar. I don't think any of these teams are like scared of San Francisco. I think that because they've all come, either one, come from that system, or two, have like something against the system, they are like ready to roll. Like they've seen each other multiple times, or they know of the other players or the other coaching staff. So I think they're going to kind of play with no fear. And we've seen when that happens with, look at last year. To start off the season, the Lions didn't really give a shit. They were ready to bite kneecaps off, and they made it a close game. So I think looking at the schedule, you have a lot of those teams, especially in the back half of the season. But that good middle portion of it too, even the Rams are going to be done by week 8, which is going to be a relief. And then we get the back half Cardinals, which I feel good about that.
Yeah, and like just going off what you're saying, how teams could be not afraid of the Niners. I think it's a fine line between these like fearless bottom of the league teams and feeling like there's no hope. Like, I think it just depends on where all these teams, the middle of the road teams, are at in their win column. Like, I could definitely see New Orleans, Washington, Falcons, Panthers have like 1 or 2 wins and just like be defeated. Someone like the Saints, they're never gonna feel like, someone like the Dolphins, they're always fighting, even if they're out of the playoff race. So I think there's just like that line, and it depends on when we catch these teams and how far out of the playoff race they are. So it's gonna be interesting to see how tough the schedule actually is when we get to the second half. I think it's gonna be a bunch of different factors depending on the quarterback and win situation for these teams.
Yeah, again, it could be easy, could be a cakewalk. We boat raced all these teams, or they could put up a fight and it's going to be some games.
Hey guys, Drew here. We really appreciate you guys sticking to the end of the video. I know this guy's happy. If you guys like what you saw, like what you heard, go ahead and watch some more videos here to get more 49ers news and updates. And go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. We appreciate it so much. Thanks you guys for spending time with us.